Mile-high mischief, Britney lights up the friendly skies. Now listen up, people, because this is a hot topic. Our girl Britney Spears has found herself in a little bit of a Smoky situation. How you doing, Britney? It seems that on May 23, 2025, or maybe just a little before then, Miss Spears was on a private flight. Yes, a fancy private jet, darling. She was flying from Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, all the way back to Los Angeles. Sounds like a nice little getaway, right? Well, things apparently got a bit hazy up in the air. She decided, honey, that it was the perfect time to light up a cigarette. A cigarette on a plane. Child, please. Can you even imagine? You're thousands of feet in the air, probably sipping on some champagne, feeling all exclusive, and then cigarette smoke. Now, we all know the rules. No smoking on planes. It doesn't matter if it's commercial or private. Those rules are usually pretty firm for safety, honey. And apparently Britney wasn't just having a smoke. Word on the street, or rather in the sky, is that she might have been enjoying a few drinks too. It sounds like she was trying to have her own little party up there. But a party for one can still cause a whole lot of turbulence for everyone else involved, you know? This wasn't just any flight, it was a private charter. So, you'd think maybe the rules are a little more relaxed? Well, not always, especially when it comes to things like open flames and pressurized cabins. It's a big no-no. Think about the poor flight attendants. They're there to make sure everything is safe and comfortable, and then they have to deal with this. Britney. What were you thinking, darling? From sunny Mexico to a cloudy situation in the sky, all because of a little nicotine craving, the drama of it all. It's like a scene from a movie, but this is real life, people. So there she is, allegedly puffing away. The flight was headed to Los Angeles, the land of stars, and apparently surprise airport greetings from officials. This little in-flight decision was about to cause a bit more of a stir once those wheels touched down. The journey might have been private, but the news? Oh, that became very public very fast. We just have to wonder what was going through her mind. Was she bored, stressed, or just feeling a little rebellious? Whatever the reason, it certainly made for an eventful trip back from her Mexican escapade. Cabin pressure, flight attendants, and that's cigarette drama. Now let's talk about the flight attendants on board. Can you imagine their faces? One minute they're probably offering refreshments, the next they're dealing with unauthorized smoke signals. According to the reports, the flight attendants described our Britney as being difficult. Oh honey, difficult can mean a whole lot of things, can it? It wasn't just a simple, oops, I forgot. This suggests there might have been a little more to the interaction. Perhaps a bit of back and forth. We weren't there, but difficult paints a picture, doesn't it? It's their job to keep order, and this was definitely out of order. So, what did they do? Well, they had to step in, of course. They reportedly approached Britney and asked her to put out the cigarette. Now, thankfully, it seems she did comply when they asked her. So, no big wrestling match over a Marlboro, thank goodness. She put it out, that's the key part. She listened, eventually. But the fact that it happened at all is the tea, isn't it? Imagine having to tell a global superstar, "Excuse me, Miss Spears, but you need to extinguish that immediately." That takes some nerve, but it's their duty. They handled it, but I bet their hearts were racing a little. The term difficult still hangs in the air though, much like that unwanted smoke. Was it her attitude? Was she argumentative before complying? The reports don't give us all the juicy details, but when airline staff use a word like that, it definitely raises an eyebrow. They see all sorts of things up there, so for them to flag it means it was probably a bit of a moment. They're professionals trained for all sorts of situations, but a pop icon lighting up mid-flight is probably not in the standard training manual. It's the kind of story they'll be telling for years to come, I'm sure. After the cigarette was out, can you just feel the tension? The rest of that flight must have been awkward. Everyone just counting down the minutes until they landed in Los Angeles. The flight attendants probably kept a close eye on her just in case she decided she needed another puff. You know how it is when there's been a little incident, the air gets thick. They did their job, they got her to comply, but I'm sure they were also the ones to alert the ground. Because honey, actions have consequences even at 30,000 feet. And those consequences were waiting. Grounded authorities meet Britney on the tarmac. So, the private jet finally touches down in sunny Los Angeles. But guess what? Britney wasn't just met by her usual car service, oh no. There was a little welcoming committee waiting for her, and they weren't there to ask for an autograph, honey. Authorities were on the ground, ready and waiting as she disembarked. Someone clearly made a call from up high, and I don't just mean altitude. The pilot or the flight crew must have radioed ahead to report the Smoky situation. You don't just light up on a plane and expect no one to notice or care. Even on a private jet, there are rules. And they were about to be explained. It wasn't the full force of the LAPD descending with sirens blaring from what we hear. Instead, a customs representative was the one to meet Miss Spears. Now, customs officials deal with people entering the country, so their involvement makes sense since she was arriving from Mexico. They are federal officers, so it's still a serious matter. Imagine stepping off your flight, probably thinking the drama was over, only to be greeted by an official with a stern face. That's enough to sober anyone up if you ask me. The party in the sky had definitely come to an abrupt end. What happened next? Well, Britney wasn't hauled off in handcuffs, so let's all breathe a sigh of relief for that. According to the reports, the customs representative gave her a warning. Just a warning. Now some might say that's getting off easy, but a warning from a federal agent is still something to take seriously. They likely explained the regulations, the dangers of smoking on an aircraft, and told her not to do it again. She was then free to go. No charges, no fines mentioned, just a stern talking to on the tarmac. So she could collect her bags and head home, perhaps with a new appreciation for airline rules. And what about the company that chartered Britney's jet, the private plane service? Well, when asked about all this commotion, they gave the classic no comment. Are we surprised? Of course not, darling. They want this to go away as quietly as possible. They're in the business of luxury and discretion, and this kind of headline isn't exactly good for business. So they're zipping their lips. But the story is out, and Britney walked away with just a slap on the wrist, a warning to remember next time she feels like lighting up mid-air. But will she? That's the question. Smoke and mirrors, social media, Mexico, and what's next? This little cigarette incident doesn't happen in a vacuum, does it? We've all seen Britney's social media lately. She's been posting those videos, dancing in her lingerie, sometimes with knives. Honey, yes, knives, it's been a lot. Some people love it, say she's expressing herself. Others are a little concerned. How you doing really, Britney? So, this Smoky flight kind of adds another layer to the whole picture we're seeing. It's another moment that makes you go, is she just living her best life, consequences be damned? Or is there something more going on beneath the surface? It's hard to say, but it's definitely keeping her name in the headlines. And let's not forget her whole "I'm moving to Mexico" declaration. Back in December, presumably 2024, she told the world she was packing up and heading south permanently. She said the paparazzi were just too much, making her face look like she was wearing a white Jason mask. She said they were incredibly cruel, so Mexico was supposed to be her escape. But then, sources close to her told that, well, not so fast. She hadn't actually moved there, she just enjoys visiting. And this flight, the one with the cigarette, was Cabo San Lucas. So, she's still enjoying her visits, it seems. The public reaction to this smoking incident has been mixed, as you can imagine. Some fans are defending her, saying, leave Britney alone, it was a private jet. Others are saying rules are rules and it was irresponsible. There haven't been any big official statements from Britney's camp about this specific incident, which isn't too surprising. They probably hope it just blows over. The private jet service, as we said, had no comment on the alleged events described, so everyone's trying to keep it low-key, but it's hard when you're Britney Spears and you light up a cigarette on a plane, child. So, what's the final resolution? Britney got a warning from customs when she landed in Los Angeles. She was free to go, and that seems to be the end of the official trouble for now. No arrests, no major penalties. It's another chapter in the ongoing saga. Will this change anything for her? Probably not much in the grand scheme of things. But it's a reminder that even when you're a superstar, there are still rules you've got to follow, especially when it comes to safety. For now, the smoke is cleared, but we'll all be watching to see what's next for Miss Britney Spears. It's never dull, is it?